Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to Activated Mornings for another wonderful morning. It's 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. I want to say thank you so much for your patience at this time. It's the 18th day of September 2023. Look at that. We're almost at Christmas. We're almost at Christmas. Before we get to everything, I want to say good morning to all those who are listening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the rest of the region, and the rest of the world, and outer space as well, because you just never know who's listening. Piccadilly shoes are back at Lanes with 25% off. Right? You can walk in style and comfort in a Piccadilly shoe. Get your Piccadilly shoe at Lanes before they're all gone. Lanes, your family store for value. And today, Monday, we have a new thought, as we do every day. Don't use social media to impress people. Use it, use it to impact people. Let me read that again
And slowly.
and slowly. Don't use social media to impress people. Use it to impact people. That's going to fly over some people's head, unfortunately. Now, for Activated Mornings this morning, we have a panel here. Let me start with to my immediate left, right, because yeah, I learned a little bit in school. We have Mr. Ari Shaw.
To all the listeners.
All right. Good morning to Dr. Jerrol Thompson, as usual on a Monday morning. He joins us.
Pleasant morning to everybody and all the new faces and so forth. Wonderful, wonderful being among persons, who are inspiring and are going to take us really into the future.
Awesome. And also, Mr. Roleza Samuel. Good morning.
All right. Good morning to SVG and good morning to all my team members here this morning.
Okay. Morning. Whew, Monday morning. Again, here we are. Now, let's jump right into it. You can reach out to us on WhatsApp at 457-9994. The number to call is 457-9997. It's an interactive program. So, of course, we welcome your calls and your comments. Short, sweet, to the point, nothing rude, nothing offensive, nothing libelous either. Okay? All right, great, wonderful. You can also send voice notes via WhatsApp and you can call via WhatsApp as well. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Wefm99SVG. Now, first order of the day, we're going to go to the hospital. The Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, formerly known as, what was it called before? Kingstown General. Kingstown General.
That's where I was born.
I'm not sure where I was born, as in the name. I know the place, but I don't remember if it was changed at that time. 1990. It was still Kingstown General, yeah? Probably, more than likely. So there are two things about the hospital that we want to touch on. So let me just say, right, this is not in any way to beat up on the hospital. I know that we have this general thing. As soon as we hear Milton Cato Memorial Hospital or healthcare, a lot of negativity comes rushing through. And that is not the purpose of this morning's conversation. Now, last week, there was a video that went viral on social media where it was seen two elderly patients on the medical male surgical ward. One was, abusing the other, hitting him. And there were a bit of exchange of words as well between the two. Prime Minister was on radio last week and he addressed the issue. He also addressed the issue of elderly patients being abandoned at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. So that's what I want to touch on this morning, first and foremost. I don't know if you guys would have seen the video and you want to comment on what you saw and how it made you feel.
All right. So I did see the video. I suppose what was of interest to me was who recorded it. I suppose it may have been another patient. And is it a case where they recorded it because maybe at this point it was out of hand? Because we're not sure how long that abuse has been going on, or abuse on the ward generally, if that has been happening, how long it's been going on. So I'm curious as to whether or not the patient, well, I believe more than likely it's a patient because of the angle that it was shot from. If they're trying to highlight a situation. And of course, sometimes recording things, I think, has a twofold benefit where we don't always like to see these type of situations. We don't like to see ills or things happening wrong within society. It's happening and to highlight issues going on. You know, so of course, seeing a screaming out, and then you have this other question. Why? I guess in my head, I'm almost thinking it's automatic that somebody would rush in to assist the patient, you know. But I mean, to be fair to the person, we don't know how long it was happening, and to see something maybe like a 20-second for a prolonged period of time, you know. But yeah, it's. I remember the Prime Minister did speak on that matter before, but this was directly after the eruptions when there were a lot of persons who were abandoned at shelters. And you know, to see that it's happening, and it makes me wonder, you know, how do we view the elderly within society? How do we view taking care of persons at that time when they get older? Do we look at them as being a bother, a headache, a burden, you know, to have this abandonment issue? So,
Ari, let me let everybody go first.
I don't know. The only thing that stood out to me was exactly that there was someone screaming and there wasn't anyone there running to their defense. That's pretty much it. Well, as it relates to the filming, I think people are allowed to take their cell phones into these wards. So I'm not surprised by the filming. But I think the most important problem is no one was present while this patient was screaming. And that's worrying. So what if it was he fell off the bed, he hurt himself? There are people who have went in for regular surgery, fell off the bed, they rupture their stitching, they have internal bleeding, and it goes all the way south. So what if that happened in this situation? That's what concerns me the most.
Doc?
This is something I have seen as a medical doctor from time to time. You know, in other countries, you find that many patients are in a private room or in what we call a duplex, where there are two patients in a room, and they may have gone away from the open ward. Our Milton Keynes Memorial Hospital, built in the British style and system, has these open wards where you pull a curtain, and so that's pretty standard. But I have seen in nursing homes that I have been involved in running in the States, this sort of thing happening. The conflicts that develop, one person to another, some event that happened the day before, something that happened earlier that day, somebody got the wrong food, or somebody is accusing someone else of stealing something from them, and these sort of things take place. The issue about filming, that's the nature today. Matter of fact, that time when we saw in Tokyo, that young lady had her head cut off. People were videoing, taking pictures of that. And so I think we can expect that videos and anything. I don't expect that somebody's going to run across. Clearly, that wasn't a nurse who was taking the picture, you know? But in the open ward, they have different sections, and the nursing station is some distance away. If this is in like the third part of I know at Milton Keynes, but they have different areas, and there's about 3 areas adjacent to the nursing station. The furthest one away seems to be the area where this may have occurred, and it would take a few seconds to actually get there, you know?
So the nurses, they don't like periodically make rounds around the ward?
So
They do.
So the periodic, it wouldn't be every 20 seconds. You know what I mean? You would go around, you would see, and then you may be addressing a patient's wound, or there may be someone who's sick in which all the nurses are involved. And if these patients are lying in a bed, calm, or a patient can get up and move around. Usually there's minimal care for these patients. If it's a situation where these persons, as they say, have been abandoned, this is the focal thing in hospital, then they may have gotten over their immediate illness and put them there, but they cannot leave because there's no space, let's say at the Louis Ponnet home, or because of other process of abandonments and so forth. And so they have to stay in the hospital until a space arises at that location. As you know, the Louis Ponnet home is a place that's going to be renovated, and they're currently using the old nursing hostel.
That's Stony Ground.
I was there a few days ago, and I was shocked to see the amount of persons who actually there, but they usually are pretty active. There's no acute illness as like another person in a hospital. They're there with a heart attack or with a surgery or something of that nature. You know what I mean? So that they can, just like at the Louis Ponnet home, get out of bed and move to somewhere else. And in the hospital, they can get out of bed and move to another location because of their level of care. It may be minimal.
Right. Now, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of faulting the nurses or the folks at the Milton Keynes Memorial Hospital, because truth and in fact, they have to be dealing with multiple patients at the same time.
And to be fair, the video, I think, the longest video seems to have been 22 seconds. So we don't know what may have happened
before or after.
Before or after. So I can't say that nobody was around or nobody did anything. You know? So yeah, I think we probably need to be careful with making assumptions of things that we're only getting a snippet of.
And generalized assumptions too, because if you are not familiar with how the MCMH is set up, then whatever you say, especially on social media, is not going to really justify the situation. Now, the ward might have been full at the time, and a nurse might have been dealing with, as Doc said, dealing with another patient. They might have been handing over at the same time. So the nurses would have been preoccupied at the time too. So I'm not really going to fault them for anything, right? Now, I personally don't like the style of MCMH with all the beds just there.
And the separation by a curtain.
Separating. Yeah, no, it's I don't think it's the best setup, especially for Mat B. I have my reasons for that. But that's how it is, and that's just what we have to work with. The bigger issue here for me is the abandonment of the elderly. I don't know how they got into the hospital, whether you call the ambulance and you just have them pick them up and you just leave them there. That to me is a bit concerning. In addition to that, before Roleza, you continue, is we're seeing this now and we're talking about it now, but how much of an issue was it before, or how big or how serious is the problem? Abandonment of the elderly in SVG.
Now, I have a question for Doc, though. What is the process when you bring a patient into the hospital? Isn't contact information supposed to be taken for whoever it is bringing that person?
Let me see. A patient typically will go into the hospital with an acute problem, a serious problem. You know, they're short of breath, they have pain, they have something, you know. And then the doctors will treat that person and they will get over the call.
No, microphone.
Yeah. They will get over that problem. Yeah. Thank you. They will get over that problem. That's where the point that abandonment starts. They will contact the next of kin or the other person say, I don't have room to take him in. He was living on his own, or he was living in a house down the road. I am his niece, father, mother, daughter, whatever the case might be. But I don't have a spare room for him, or he's troublesome, or whatever the case might be. And so they want to see that person better, but they think that some sort of nursing facility will be readily available that the state will take care of him. Now, some people will take that person and put them into a nursing basis. And some people say, I don't have that money to do. I'm leaving it up to the state, the government, the Ministry of Health to take care of the person now that that patient is better. So I want to take it away that somebody is calling up and say, come take my father, I can't longer take care of him and so forth. Isn't that? They go into the hospital for an acute problem and they cannot leave because they have nowhere to go.
But from your knowledge, as Christal was asking, has this been an issue that has been happening for years?
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. This has been going on. Matter of fact, St. Vincent is great. You go to England, you now go to the United States. Kids who've been taken care of by their parents don't really want their elderly parent along.
Right. And I think this is where it's interesting for me, because at no point in time can I ever see myself just abandoning my mother. So
well, you're nice.
No, well,
you're nice. You're a good person.
Your mother, but would you abandon your father?
I probably wouldn't. But
I tell you something. My dad.
Sorry to my father.
My dad was ill and was developing dementia. For 5 years. I took care of him for 5 years. I had some opportunities to go travel, but I had to put those things off because he was good. He was a good father.
Oh, yes.
You know? He was a damn good father.
He was funny too.
Yeah.
But he was funny. Well, during our interactions, he was funny.
I see.
And you know what's interesting with this point though, because when I was a member of the Leo Club St. Vincent, we had adopted an elderly gentleman, and we came to realize that he had children. Now, in my naive mind back then, I'm like, but if you have children, why are you living by yourself? Why is it that the neighbors have to take care of him? But I think part of it also goes back to another issue, or maybe something I would see in society, because you just asked me about if I would take care of my father.
You said
now, in my situation,
Yes.
right? I grew up with my mother. My father at that time, of course, I knew who he was, but he did not play a pivotal role in my development, which was what brought me back to that gentleman, because you also have to look at what the history was with the interaction between parents and child. So when parents get older, you may have instances where they may not have necessarily been the best parent to their child when the child was growing up. So a child does not necessarily see the need to take care of their parents when they're getting older. But would I ever leave my father in a situation of squalor? No, so I think that's also where there's a slight breakdown, or you also have to look back at the history that has happened. So it may not just be a simple question of trying to figure out the answers, but it's a lot to wrap your head around.
It's very dynamic, right? But as the child, okay, so in your younger years, your parent, let me generalize because I know socially fathers get a lot of licks.
Some justly so.
Your parent abandons you at some point. But when they become old and they're not able to take care of themselves, you in turn return that treatment per se to the parent. Easier said than done. But I mean, the right thing, especially if you're coming from a Christian perspective, is to do the right thing and take care of that individual, even though they might have hurt you in the past. God will bless you. God will bless you. You'll be highly blessed and favored, no matter how much it might hurt you.
But then there's another point that Doc raised as well, because we have to look at the mental state of the parents at that time. Yeah. Now, we know that there are some parents who are, when they're older.
Oh, when they're older.
Okay. Yes. We know that some parents could be a handful when they're even younger. But when they get older and then Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever sets in, it's going to be, a lot more strain, a lot more effort. And you as a younger person, as in the child, you have to get on with your life. And also depending on your finances, you may not be able to put them in a home, or you may not be able to have someone come to your home to take care of them. So I'm never going to say that abandonment is the right thing, but
you could understand why.
I could understand.
But here's another thing, right? No, what if your parent was going through the same thing that you're going through now? They had to take care of their parent, take care of themselves, and lo and behold, they had might have had to take care of one or two children.
Right.
So they may not have been able, maybe that is the reason they were not as nice to you, because they just were carrying around so much load. Now, 8:31 is the time. We're normally joined by courts at this time. All right. So we're going to take a quick break and come right back. Feel free to drop your comment on the WhatsApp 4579994. And when we come back after courts, then we'll be able to entertain some calls if you so desire. All right.
Sparrows, rum of pure sophistication. Sparrows, rum, aged to perfection. Skillfully crafted and forged with time in oak barrels. A rum so divine. Discover authentic Caribbean rum. Sparrows, premium rum. Sparrows, full-bodied rum. Sparrows, pure sophistication. Discover authentic Vincentian rum. Sparrows, premium rum.
Distilled and blended by St. Vincent Distillers Limited. Please drink responsibly.
Agents, Careers, Distributions Limited.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there, reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents, SwiftPack, Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Get ready, get set, and head down to Quartz and Quartz Optical now. So beat the clock. 4 days only. Wednesday the 13th to Saturday 16th of September. Rush down to Quartz and beat the clock for great offers. For Goldbusters, to Pogo, employee pricing, with your discount and more. All on credit purchases, 24 months and over. It gets even sweeter with nothing down and nothing to pay until January 2024. That's right. Shop at Quartz from September 13th to the 16th and pay absolutely nothing down and nothing until January 2024. Get ready. Get set. Go down to Quartz and Quartz Optical. Quartz, bringing value home.
Wefm, now on the World Wide Web. Log on to SVG's first online radio station, www.999wefm.com.
All right, welcome back. So Courts Ready Cash should be joining us in just a few. So while we await their call this morning, let's read out some comments coming from the WhatsApp.
Okay, so Cornell says MCMH, formerly known as Kingston General Hospital, was originally named Colonial Hospital. I don't know if that's true. That's true?
Yeah, I think
It
so.
was named Colonial Hospital?
I think so, yeah.
That's triggering me.
That's
Colonial.
That's interesting.
That's what you should throw out the dictionary. Colonial. Anyways.
That's interesting. Irvin York says the Bible says parents will be against children and same will be children. What is love? If they do not give that to you in begging, will they expect you to return the same love to them when they need it? He has a voice note here.
Normally we listen to them first, but I think we could
Okay, let's see what he says here.
In my family's situation of squalor,
Oh, it's a woman.
Okay, no, that's Roleza speaking there.
Oh.
I think that was an error.
That's probably an error.
That's
Yes.
an
That's
error.
probably an error. And we have a comment from Damon. There's nice topic. I think the government should find out who the family is and send the bill. Let them pay some money for abandoning their loved ones.
My biggest one of the issues that I have with abandoning your relatives, because I don't think it's always like parents, because sometimes some people may not have children, right? Is you are taking up space of other people who want to use the services at MCMH, making the wards filled and having people have to stay in the accident and emergency ward because they cannot be transferred over.
The lack of beds, right?
I think we may be using this word abandonment a little too loosely. I think initially it would have come out that, well, somebody call up, the ambulance come, pick this person up and carry him to the hospital and so forth. Or that, no, I think they're relatives who may be visiting these people even, Even at Lewis Punnett home, there are people who visit these individuals, but they are unable to take them and provide them with a room and provide them with that 24-hour care on an ongoing basis. Now, is that abandonment as such? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or is it that they're not taking up the responsibility of the full care of the individual and they're leaving it now up to the state?
It's not abandonment in some part though.
I know this problem is big in Canada, England, and so forth. Matter of fact, in England, they take your pension. They don't give it to the family. They use that to take care of the person in the nursing home, right? Normally, some daughter or so will get the pension, and the state they pass laws to say, well, no, if somebody goes to nursing home, the state now gets that person's pension to take care of them. It's a complex issue, but I wanted to just do the definition of abandonment, and so maybe different for each patient. I'm not saying there isn't one person who they just said, look,
So you're saying that the state is helping to take care of, but it's not necessarily abandoned?
No. A number of things have been done. I remember when they came up with home care for the elderly. And they've now got maybe close to about 70, 80 people go around taking care of people. They started building toilets for people, elderly persons, And I'm shocked to know the amount of people who didn't have these outhouses and so forth, and they're having to go out of the house a distance, and the dangers, the security issues, and safety issues going there. But actually taking them into a facility, there are more people who are reaching there. And I think I'm talking about 31% of our population over the age of 60. So there are more people reaching an age where they may have difficulty taking care of themselves. They had a small stroke, they have a heart problem, whatever the case may be, compared to the amount of space there is in the government service for home, Lewis Punnett home, and so forth. That's why they are rebuilding the Lewis Punnett home and trying to double the amount of space that they have out there at Canada.
I don't see any work going on, and they've been there for some years.
Yes,
now.
true. It's true.
So I mean, I guess they're on there. I don't know how far up or down they are on the priority list, because I'm pretty sure I heard about this at renewal at 40.
Well, you see, what usually happens, let me tell you, the construction of a building, the design, the approval, going out to tender, and so these things are about 2-3 year turnaround. You know what I mean? And the building that was there was in such bad shape, we're going down that they had to find some temporary location for them first. So you're right. It seems to be taking a long time. I don't know how long they've been at the nursing home. Remember before, the mental folks were there. Weren't they? Wasn't it? You should recall the people. People who were at the mental home were at. Remember when they did over the mental home?
When they're at Orange Hill?
Yes.
They were sent to
sorry.
You're right.
Sorry.
You're right.
They were at Orange Hill.
That's correct.
There may have been like an overlapping at one or two persons, but
there's two perspectives that I have. The first one is yes, we definitely throwing around the word abandoned loosely. Yeah. There are situations, and everyone here in the room should be familiar, as well as the listeners. There are guys around the village or your neighborhood that you get to pick up fruits or do little chores. You give them a small change or a warm meal. These people are essentially familyless. These people are just around the neighborhood. Some of them are on drugs. Some of them just that they're at that stage in poverty. If they fell ill, someone noticed they're ill, they call the ambulance picks them up. Who is responsible for them? They're just at the hospital.
At that point, I guess it's the state.
That's right.
Yeah.
At that
So
point, it's the state.
we don't know
That's
if
what
they've
it
been
is.
abandoned because they've been on their own, they've just been around, and we don't know.
Interesting what you're saying. Have you observed that this is predominantly men?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a lady who used to build a kind of a house, a cottage in the street
Is
up at
it
Lomans.
Mama's honey?
Barbers. So, and she used to have different locations where she used to build it. But that's isolated, isn't it? I'm amazed going through around town and you see a couple of guys or different villages. You could see where the state of some men is in a far worse. Maybe it's going back
Exactly. I was just
to,
going to say that.
there is discrimination.
No. I don't think it's a case of discrimination.
Well,
I think
take that
it's a
one
case of not playing your role when you should have been playing your role as a man.
Well,
And then
you
these
don't know.
things come back
possibly.
to possibly.
Possibly.
That's one
Possibly.
angle of it. That's one
Possibly.
angle of it.
That may
but
be
you
one
could be the
angle.
bigger
But how can we
person.
tell?
Mm.
How
No,
can
no.
we tell that that's all? That's the true reason.
True.
In every single case.
Unless you
Christal.
ask them, and then they may not be honest, openly honest. Let's take a call this time. Hello, good morning. All right, we lost
Okay,
that.
we lost
Try
that
again. This is how I feel, and this is just my personal perception on it. Now, somebody might have done some ill to you, really ridiculous. You feel hurt and you hold on to that forever and ever. Amen. But isn't okay? We're predominantly Christian, so I was raised in Anglicanism, so I know a little bit of the Bible. So there are some things that would stick out to me. First, one of them is even if somebody does ill to you, be the bigger person and do the right thing, because that energy just comes back to you. I don't believe in like tit for tat, because at some point, what are you teaching other people? You cannot proclaim to believe in something and not act it out. So you can't want to be a nice person or a good person within society and not act like a good person or a nice person. Be the bigger person, just take care.
But you're just one person with that point of view.
Probably in the
there be-
minority too.
Maybe
Definitely
not.
the
But I
minority.
actually did see a discussion of this before. I think it was within Vinci too. Yes, where a lot of persons were of the opinion that no, even though your father may have abandoned you as a child, you should not turn around and do the same thing. What was interesting is that was the point of view of many persons, that you don't turn around and do the same thing, you know. But yeah, you are going to have the few persons, and in this article, it's only 7 males. So is it necessarily a very large situation, a big situation, or you know, maybe this is just what we're seeing in this particular instance?
But if you look at it statistically,
Mhm.
it's 7 out of 10. That's 70%.
Right, right.
Well, I want to go a little beyond that. That's in the hospital, abandonment, but let's look in the communities. What is
And the
the
streets.
usual situation of a woman, an elderly woman living on her own, who has still the ability to cook, still the ability, is it called that?
Yeah, we have a
That
call
is-
coming in. That's it.
Hold that point. Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. I'm hearing a lovely discussion this morning, and I feel I almost have authority to speak on my experience at the Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital. But not only that, I heard the name Colonial Hospital, yes, and somebody, some surprise when they heard that. Well, bless your age. But Colonial Hospital had to do with the colonial powers of the time. To get that straight, do your history. I thank my parents so much, because when I was young and was hospitalized for the first time, I had the privilege to go to that part of the hospital, private ward in those days, called Graham Wings. Called the Graham Wings. Check that out. Get some education about that too. And my parents, well, at the time, we were insured. My parents had the finance to insure us or whatever, however you look at it. So automatically, I was admitted to the Graham Wings for my first introduction to what hospital is all about. Well, now I grow old. I have to laugh in a way. Now I grow old. I don't even think I can afford to fly out of the country now for any medical attention like my good friend Dr. Jerrol Thompson. You have to have some status. You have to be with, you have to be in that position. Somebody got to know you and that sort of stuff. But what a decline. What a decline. What a decline listening to you guys speaking. And I'm happy. I don't know who this young team is, but I'm happy that you young people are there. And it's a lot for you to learn. That's why I am even concerned about the future of our, well, when I say I'm concerned about our future, we have been told that we are going to get an acute referral hospital right in Arnesville here, not too far from, I am overlooking that site. But if over the years you have had so much problems, I beg the question, with the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital, how are we going to handle what I think would be a state-of-the-art, that's a phrase I love to use, state-of-the-art hospital, building a new hospital? I'm just throwing out that question. Certainly, if the country is not in a healthy economic state, if we do not have employment, so we know the NIS and all those problems, how can we manage something as important like our health care? We've got to look at all different aspects of what we're speaking about here. Mm-hmm. I mean, things don't just happen overnight. And coming out of this discussion, I hope the government is taking stock. And not everybody will be able to access this program and to talk or speak like how I'm speaking. But you see, me, I keep a keen interest in what is going on in my country. Who want to think that I talk too much? Too bad for them. But I will advise you guys, as the future prime minister, doctors, lawyers, and all of that, these are things that I would hope and wish and pray that you keep tabs on, you keep record of what is taking place. Because we are not going to get better if we can correct some of the basic things, basic necessities in our country. Anyhow, I think I've said enough. I hope I make sense to you guys. Have a good day. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. Doc, you will.
Christal, I want to make a correction. What I'm reading is that 7 men were on male medical and 3 men were on male surgical, suggesting that all 10 individuals were male.
But that's at the bottom of the article. At the top of the article, it says 7 men and 3 women.
Yeah.
7 and 10 women. Okay. And therefore, I think it's because they may have had 7. The assumption would be if there's 7 on male medical, therefore the other 3. But I'm not absolutely sure that there were any women there abandoned. And I'm raising this particular issue that out in the community, the men who are living on their own seem to be living in certain conditions where they are not often able, like women living on their own, to keep the facility they live in a proper state. They may not, a woman would typically not leave all the dishes out and so forth, would want have her doily and so forth properly fixed up, and all those sort of things. Whereas the male, you go into some of these places and it's really chaos. So I think that there may be a factor going beyond what we've observed here at the Milton Keynes Memorial Hospital in terms of this issue of abandonment in the communities, the plight of the elderly male. What's the reason for this? And clearly, men are living shorter times, for female. It's a whole set of issues and statistics that come into play.
Let's get one or two comments that came in. There's one on the live, and I think there's one on WhatsApp as well.
All right, so I think that's Kevin Bentek said, once a man, twice a child. Reason why they're so troublesome around that old age, according to my friend, their dementia, etc. Irvin said, once you have children, you be there for them, they will always be there for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it even if your parent wasn't necessarily around there for you, as long as you're not harboring that lifelong resentment towards them, then you can have that change of heart and be there for them. But not everybody is like that, So I think one of the other things that we need to look at as well, that whole sense of community, because sometimes I look at even in my situation where I don't know if there's going to be a change of circumstances in my life, but suppose I end up being the little old woman living in a house, right? And I always say that, like my neighbors have children around. So not that I'm being nice to them because I'm thinking of them when I get older. But the point is that I interact with them, because one of the things that I don't know what's going to happen with me and my life later on, if my niece isn't here, she's out of the country or whatever, then who is going to check in and look on me, so sometimes we also have to, do we have that sense of community that's still active? Because as persons age, that maybe there may have just been this one person living within a household who checks in on them, so that's also another aspect. If I happen to end up in the hospital, would one of my neighbors' children come and look for me there, something to that effect, that whole sense of community and all of that.
That's why you have to live good with people too.
Amen.
Right?
Correct.
Now, you're speaking, and the discussion is mostly around elderly. However, we don't know what is going on inside of our bodies. Anything can happen at any given moment. When you're incapable of caring for yourself, who do you have will come and help you out? Community, I don't know, the community spirit that I've been told existed, that I have seen, needs to come back on a greater scale. And I think it starts with the individual.
But I don't know. I only recently moved to Clear Valley like 4 years ago, and I have to big up my community because
for two reasons, right?
It is there. It is because let me tell you, there was something so funny that happened. I remember a neighbor saying that he hasn't seen the lights on in my house for probably like a couple of days. So I'm like, you sure you're watching the writers? I suppose he was watching the writers, but it was interesting that he said that. But after chuckling, I said, well, at least there are persons who are still looking in on me. And of course, I'm not elderly, but at least there is that sense of community, So I totally appreciate that.
Yeah. As you said that, people have a lot of negative things to say about Glenn, but good morning to the folks in Glenn. Big up yourselves one time. Stop it. You see the little chuckle there. Little chuckle there.
You see, a whole community wouldn't necessarily be bad. There might be sections of it, but may not be the entire place.
So, Christal, I still go back to having lived in England, having lived in the United States. Sometimes you don't know who's living next to you in those countries. But here in St. Vincent, you do know the community. And I really applaud all those individuals. They're people, especially women, who on that Sunday or during the week got a plate of food wrapped up and somebody's carrying it over to that guy so that he can get his plate of food and so forth, or his breakfast in the morning. That is real community, That's important.
Yeah, that's nice. When you say it, you really should highlight it. But we love to talk about the negative things and not give light to the good things that are happening. Sorry. It's 5 minutes on to 9 o'clock. There's another issue that was highlighted last week that I want to touch on concerning the Milton Keto Memorial Hospital. And that's concerning the amount of boxes and items that are in the hallways.
That's on your way to mail.
Boy, it seems like all over.
It's corridor. It's the video
corridors.
just shows them along corridors. We're not sure where the corridors lead to, but yeah.
I went up there a few weeks ago. When you go up the little spiral stairs and you turn left.
Mail.
And there was mail. There was a bunch of stuff in the hallway. I'm not sure what it was, but it took up a good bit of the hallway. I was wondering what that was about.
Boxes upon boxes.
There are
of
boxes.
things.
Well, from the video that I saw, boxes, desks, just things that I'm wondering if they're to be thrown out or if they're supposed to be relocated to somewhere else. But I think my bigger issue with them being there is how long have they been there, right? And you know that the hospital is supposed to be like a sterile environment. Also, the corridors should be free for easy passage and so forth. So, you know, I'm curious about that. And I mean, to be honest, we know that Kingston, especially when it rains, you see all the rats and the cockroaches, etc., that come out, you know, when it starts to rain. And part of me wonders, are there things living, depending on how long they've been there? So, you know, I'm being careful with that part of it. But there can be things living inside of these. Are they being checked periodically? You know, that sort of thing. So
that may be depending on how long they're there.
I don't know how long things are there. It may seem as if things are there, but there are organizations, Vincentian organizations in Canada, England, America. I know I've been part of organizations. We have whipped up stuff, stuck it in containers, beds, 20 beds that are 110 volts, not 220, and they come down here and they sometimes can't be used because they need a transformer or different things, benches, to examination benches. There are a lot of stuff that actually comes in, donated by various agencies. You would even found that during the time of the eruption and so, a number of things would have come in that may not have been suitable or could be used, and they don't necessarily have a warehouse. Now, the passageway is the wrong place, but there's also broken stuff that comes out. And there's a process in government that they can't just, a bed that's broken, they can't just go and discard it. It has to go through a process where
checking off and
checking off, making sure, sometimes these things take a little too long. But I tell you, there's some spaces there at the hospital, where there's a ton load of stuff that is being sent in and donated and so forth. Some of it can't be used at the time, or they have a year's supply of this, and they have to stock it up. And that's something that really do have to be looked at. The debulking of those areas would look a lot better, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to totally do it.
But get a container or something. Get one of those containers, just temporary store them and then go there and check them
probably easier.
Not a hospital.
No. I don't think what Doc is saying is that now that they don't have storage, they're probably filled.
That's full.
Right, because
full.
people donate and so on.
Every time there's lots of and some bulky stuff that sometimes comes in. When they bring in tons of wheelchairs or walkers or things of that nature, they have to put it somewhere. Can they put it in a container? And where can they put it in a container? Or keep it in a container somewhere else?
And then what about the heat?
Because it comes the same like when you enter. We're not judging people here, but like when you enter someone's house and it's just filled with clutter, you don't feel welcome there. And if I'm going there as a patient, it is the first thing that I'm going to observe. Then I'm going to be questioning everything else, right?
Well, not as a patient.
If as a patient, you
relative.
Yeah, as a patient, you go straight into A&E. When you go there, you don't see the clutter.
But if I know of it being there before,
you're sick,
right?
You mean,
you're not going to pictures.
Your mind is on getting better.
And I think for like relatives as well, for the most part, they're just gonna like zoom past it.
To me, it lends to the whole aesthetic of a building. I just rather not see.
Right, I understand. But I don't know. I'm probably the odd one here, but it doesn't really bother me as much. Having all those boxes. I know when you go up to the pharmacy, there are bits of boxes, and I think there are like one or two things that look like machines. on the right hand side, I believe. But they don't bother me as much. I think once the patients are being cared for, if the boxes
person.
okay.
But outside of that, it's safety risk. What if something happens? You have to rush a patient out, and then there's these.
The passages really should be free.
The passages should be free.
They probably keep the key areas free because on the other side,
there's a roadway. There's like a roadway system, and they're using spaces that they haven't been used. But that whole thing of storage in this old colonial hospital that was never built to store stuff or could be adequately repaired and so forth in a manner that you would. That's why, it's going to become a Kingstown hospital, and you're going to have this acute care hospital, called acute referral, acute care hospital at Annisville. That's going to be state-of-the-art, modern, and more focused. I'm pretty sure that they will make some provision not to have stuff cluttered up in the hallways out at that facility. Like out of modern medical, they don't have that. I understand.
Okay. They're probably all down at MCMH, and they just. Anyways, now we have to take a break. 9:02 is the time. Coming up next is the ECCB Bank Rates. This brought to you compliments of Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, sing it loud. BOSVG. Hey, building our future. Doing more together.
OSBG, doing more together.
Good morning. Welcome to the ECCB Bank Rates. It's brought to you compliments of Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For today, Monday, September 18th, 2023, the following are today's indicative rates in Eastern Caribbean dollars for key international and regional currencies. These rates will not apply to commercial banks' transactions with the public. The Barbados dollar, 1.35. The Canadian dollar, 1.99919. Swiss franc, 3.01222. Euro 2.87. Let me say that again. 3.4436. The United States dollar 2.70 and the Guyana dollar 0.01297. There you have it. The ECCB bank rates for today. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for sponsoring.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank. Together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, sing it loud. BOSVG. Hey, building our future. Doing more together.
OSBG, doing more together.
On Tuesday, September 19th, there'll be thousands of dollars to be won. A lotto jackpot of $211,000. A new home, car, or that college education.
Lotto, you have to be in it to win it.
Next lotto jackpot, $211,000.
I was looking for just looking for a cough syrup, looking for a drug to help this pain here in my throat. I needed something fast to help me with my cold. Then I turned around and there you go. I went into the store and I found what I needed when I shouted Super Health.
Super Health Pharmacy. We're located on Grenville Street, formerly Isles Boutique. Come in and check out our wide variety of over-the-counter prescriptions, medications, personal care products, and much more. Take advantage of our free delivery services, blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol testing. Open Mondays to Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call or WhatsApp us at 497-8737 or 457-8737. Super Health Pharmacy. Your health is our priority.
And I found what I needed when I shouted Super Health.
Are you tired of being tired? Fighting the battle of the bulge? Take a breath of fresh air and embrace a new lease on life. Oxygen Fitness Center is here, located in the Camden Park Industrial Estate in the Green Building, next door to the government printery. Our range of fitness equipment and programs were carefully selected to meet your needs. Take a leap of faith today. Oxygen Fitness Center has the answers to your fitness needs. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram or call us at 457-8333.
Some of our most precious treasures, the crown jewels, the epitome of elegance. Saturday, October 7th, 8 p.m., Victoria Park. Miss SVG 2023 Crown Jewels. 9 magnificent ladies vie for the coveted Miss SVG crown. Letitia Barber, Miss Grenadine House, Denicia Botswain, Miss Metricin General Insurance Limited, Diana Fairbairn, Miss Play 4, Arena Foy, Miss Massey Stores Limited, Trina Hooper, Miss National Lotteries Authority, Lion Laborde, Miss Flo, Samisha Millington, Miss Caress Ace Hardware, Tara Richardson, Miss JCI St. Vincent, and Royisha Telemac, Miss In Transit Exports. Early bird tickets $60, pre-sold $75. Ticket outlets, the Lotta booth at Peace Smoke, 4 Shells, Chill Spot, Johnny's Barbershop, VJ's Restaurant, Video Extreme Entice, and Terrence Auto Care. Miss SVG 2023 Crown Jewels. Saturday, October 7th, 8 p.m., Victoria Park.
99.9 Wefm.
This is 99.9 Radio. Turn it up.
sometimes when you see a little lagging before we come back in, it means that off-air discussion.
It's healthy.
Healthy and spicy. One of those is, right? So this morning, if you're just joining us, want to say welcome to Activated Mornings. In studio this morning, we've got Mr. Ari Shaw, Dr. Jerrol Thompson, Miss Roleza Samuel, and yours truly, Christal. All right, and we're gonna go up with commentary, for until 9:45. If you want to join us, 4579994 is the WhatsApp number to message, send a voice note, or you can call over WhatsApp, the WhatsApp number, or if you want to call direct, it's 4579997. So we started talking about the number of quote unquote abandoned elderly folks at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. And then we continue to talk about the hospital from a different perspective, not a different perspective, but a different issue of storage within the hallways. Some differences in opinions as well there. I think there are 2 comments. Let's get those out before we continue. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. G says, you better pray those neighbors' kids not listen. They will know why you're being nice to them. I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna keep reading.
You don't know what it means?
They know. No, it's in relation to what I said.
Yeah, you're nice to people just because.
Yeah. No, they're good children. They're good children.
I'm gonna pretend I don't know what that means. Iona
Sounds like you do it too.
Iona Nichols says, it is things that people can use to give them to people and get space in the hospital. Oh, if it's things
that people can use.
Yeah, that people can use to get them space and get space in the hospital area.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's a minor issue compared.
Oh, I see. You get in the hallway. You're talking about
to
give stuff away. Well, you know.
But doctor said that there is a process. But maybe the process itself could be sped up. That's probably what the issue is.
My question is
garbage?
Is it an issue at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital only, or across the island with the clinics and the small hospitals?
Milton Cato has been the center. When things come, they go Milton Cato, and then from there they distribute it elsewhere.
Okay.
You know, so remember, let's go back. This old colonial hospital. There isn't space to train 2 containers in the yard or where parking is or something. So there really isn't, or put it in the cemetery. You know what I mean? There really isn't a lot of space there. That's why they're building a new facility over several acres out at Arnesville on top of the runway, because there's a need for a new facility.
My curiosity. Sorry, continue.
Yeah.
My curiosity is getting the best of me right now. The colonial hospital, was it meant for everyone, or was it meant for indentured workers and slaves?
That's what they call hospital in Grenada. What they call it
colonial meaning because it was pre-independence.
I know. I just want to make sure.
They didn't name it after somebody, King Charles Hospital or James Jones Hospital. They call it the Colonial Hospital of Barbados, Colonial Hospital of Grenada, of St. Lucia,
almost like the police force.
You're hanging on to the word colonial because that's what seems to be the issue.
I'm wondering, is it the same where if there's serious issues and the people, the upper class or middle class, would they go to the colonial hospital?
You remember in those days there wasn't a road coming from North Leeward to Kingston. You had to come up by boat. So there was a little hospital in Chateaubriand. There was one in Mespo. There was a little one somewhere else in Georgia. And that's where you got your healthcare from. And a dispenser. And so came down here. The doctor would come and visit. They have a resident doctor there all the time. You know, there was a doctor in the Georgetown area until it's only recently they've now gotten another doctor who's covering beyond, going past the Dry River and so forth. You know what I mean? It's interesting to know during the days of Dr. Gunn Monroe and how many doctors were actually here in St. Vincent. It wasn't really a substantial amount.
Okay.
I want to go back to the maybe generally healthcare system, and healthcare in any country is really important, right? And it's really expensive as well. And for me, it kind of pains me that there are still some people who, I know that there are some folks who downright cannot afford certain things. But when you look at the cost of healthcare at the MCMH compared to private, some of these things come up to like next to nothing. And one of the issues that I have is that people still don't want to pay. Some people who can afford would just don't want to pay to help to support the system financially. That's one issue that I have. Another one is NCDs and the way that we look at non-communicable diseases in the country. Boy, are there a lot of amputees. And it will start out simple. A toe, your foot, and then it goes up. Even just walking through Kingston. I mean, yes, you can assume that that's the reason they were amputated. But for those of you who know the amount of amputees that we have because of diabetes, for me, it's sort of alarming. And it lends itself to becoming a national issue, and it's something that the country has to foot the bill for, because we didn't really do what we needed to do in our younger years to take care of ourselves. Even in our older years, to go and get our checkups, the clinics you can go, it's free. Go check your pressure, check your sugar.
The polyclinics have a lot of services too. I think, not to cut you off totally.
No, it's all right. I was at the end.
But I think one of the things, because I did not realize until I was listening to an Is Your Hand program a few Sundays ago, when can't remember who all was on the panel, but they spoke of the services that are there at the polyclinics, and I had no idea. I had no idea of the range of services that were there. So sometimes I wonder, do people know? Because rather than rushing to go to Kingston, or let's even say rather than rushing to go to a private doctor, have you sought the services of your district polyclinic, or at least polyclinic that's close to you?
Is it marketed?
Well, that's
Does
the
it
thing.
have to be though?
Maybe, because remember, to some extent, because as I said, I did not know. The reason why I did not know is because thankfully I have never really had a reason to use the health services here in Vincy, you know? Yes, we're knocking on this is what I'm knocking on that, you know?
Let me knock.
But no, I'm not these parts right here.
The board here.
Right. So, but the thing of it is that should I ever be in need of it, where would I go? Where, should I rush to a private doctor? Is there a stigma that maybe the private doctor is better, or I'm going to be attended to quicker at a private doctor as opposed to going to a polyclinic or going to Kingston General?
I think the stigma is anti-national healthcare. A lot of people are anti. They don't want to go because and this I think is because majority of the conversations that we have had about healthcare is about poor healthcare, about there not being sufficient medication, about people dying, but they don't talk about the success stories. And there are a lot of success stories. There are lots of good things that are happening in healthcare. It's not perfect, and we understand that. And we still have to highlight the issues within healthcare. But when you're sitting down and you're listening to all these conversations, 80% of the discussions would put you in a certain mood, and you'll be scared. Like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do this. So maybe for some people, that's why I said, do you really have to market the polyclinics?
Because I think they should let the public know what services are available there.
Because if this is the stigma, then we should know, okay, this is not the case. It actually has a lot of benefits.
And then there's going to be some campaign to say they lie.
There's always going to have that. But once the information is out there, then you've done your job. But if you have the information and you keep it to yourself, that's a problem.
Are the only persons who will know is the persons who frequent the clinics. But for me, who may find myself in a situation of emergency, do I need to rush into Kingston? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
No.
Well, this is interesting. Really, a substantial amount of Vincentians go to their village clinic or polyclinic to see a doctor, see the district medical doctor. I when I was elected, I used to go down to Chateaublais every other Thursday and run a clinic.
All right, we have a call coming in. I don't know if you want to. Okay.
Stick up in there, though.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, good morning to everyone and those on the panel discussion.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead.
I tuned in a little late, but I listened to part of the discussion. So about the clinic. Yes, they have those necessary reach for you, which is good. But there are certain things that if you have to go to the doctor, if you're feeling sick, and so on, don't document. I talk with experience. And as I don't want to go to a private doctor, I live in the area, right? Not too far. And as I don't want to go to a private doctor, I mean, fly go down there. A lucky thing I didn't go. I call them and tell them what is my situation. And when I call them, say no, I have to go in Kingston clinic and let them forward me to go down, come down there to see the doctor. Right? Couple months ago, that happened. So I said, thank you very much. I said, well, I thought I could just rush, come down there and deal with the situation that happening to me like that and explain and tell them what it is. So therefore, sir, I said, thank you very much. I said, lucky thing I ain't rushed to come down there. So what I did, I go straight to a private doctor and get my problem solved. Because I ain't just down the other bigger hospital.
Interesting.
Case in point, right?
Madam, could I just ask you, are you from the Buckament area or are you from Kingstown? Are you from the Buckament area or are you from Kingstown?
I tell you where I live in.
Well, I'm not really trying to find out where you're living, but are you more from Kingstown or are you from the Buckament area?
Yes, I moved from Kingston.
Yeah.
And that is years ago. Go overseas, come back and live where I'm living.
Right, but are you living near to the polyclinic now? That's what I'm asking you.
Why did I tell you that?
Oh, you did say that. Yeah, well,
What I said.
I'll tell you something. I know from experience you should be able to go to the polyclinic and you should be able to obtain services there. It is supposed to be open up for many hours. A number of them.
Yes, which is, it does open.
Yes.
But
And
there are policy there.
usually there's a doctor there as well. The nurse will be able to see you.
I know that.
So
I know that.
It would only be if there is a circumstance that they can't deliver that service at the polyclinic. They would tell you go to the Milton Keynes Memorial Hospital and then see a doctor to be referred back down. That sounds a little strange, you know what I mean? And so I'm sorry, but I was trying to just dig a little deeper to find out the reason.
Thank you very much. But when I was thinking going there, people who I know go there, and I asked them to assist me. Yeah. They gave me that same
answer.
Clarity, Lord. They gave answer.
Yeah.
And I don't take what people say. I call for myself. I ask for the number. I get the number, and I call them, and they told me what and what and what and what. Okay. Right? Which I don't want to disclose over the.
That's okay.
You have to use wisdom.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Right? So I'm telling you, it have necessary thing that you could go there, which I rather to go to Buckman Clinic anytime.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yes.
Than in Kingston.
Right.
I rather. But still, they have rules and regulations. If you have to go down there, you can't go down there to deal with certain things. You have to go to the clinic, and when the clinic see you, and when the clinic see you, they have to refer you to the doctor and them who down there to deal with your matter.
It sounds odd, yeah.
But which goes
back.
back.
But it's
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, caller.
No, it sounds hard for true. But I respect their rules. Because if I both face go down there and say, when it's a clinic for everybody, they will stay on me away. The only song to me to get an attendant, like you have to take in the rush you there. You understand? And then they could tend to you and say, okay, let me send you down Kingston.
But which goes back to the point that Ari was making in terms of persons, or even, well, both of us were making, in terms of being aware of what services are offered there, because maybe that may have prevented you from, if you knew up front, then you would have just gone to Kingston directly, as opposed to, well, at least you made a call in this case. You made a call to the polyclinic, but at least if it's disclosed, or at least if it's a bit more advertised, a bit more direct in our faces in terms of that information hitting us, then we would know what is available at the clinics.
But Carl, I have a question.
But what they need to do, have to cut grass.
You said that you lived around Kingston and then you traveled and then you came back and lived in Bookament. Is it possible that your information isn't updated, so you're currently listed as living in Kingston?
But should that matter though?
No. No, let me tell you something. My thing can update it because why? When I left here, computer, I live here since in 1998. So you can't find no record these days, you go find the old one.
I see.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah,
I
they need to do better, have a nice thing, and not only down there, but even those they have it in the countryside.
Yeah. Thanks for your contribution. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
I do not know of any clinic that, or any polyclinic really, that they will tell you to go to Kingston first and then come back to the polyclinic. Normally, you go to the polyclinic
and then they refer you.
To Kingston.
It seems tedious.
Now, so it sounds as
Unless
if
they go to
I was thinking of the same thing.
Yeah, that's what
that
I'm
the
thinking.
patient had a chart in Kingston and they say go there first and so forth.
Maybe they update that and then
she
that's
said
what I'm
no,
thinking.
that's not the situation.
Yeah.
She is new to the system because she is returned and hasn't interfaced with the system. The polyclinics are designed such that they are like a little bit of an emergency room, a casualty department, and at the same time they're a little bit of clinic. They hold different clinics on different days. There are the geriatrics, the this, that,
pediatrics.
and so forth. So it's there's some miscommunication somewhere.
Correct.
And sometimes one phone call can throw you off completely because the person misunderstood, or that shouldn't be the case.
Correct. Or maybe it depends on what her situation is, because remember, she did not disclose it as well.
She didn't want to disclose it. And I don't want to go into detail.
So it could have been something,
routine.
or maybe something that they could not have handled, but maybe address that at Kingston and maybe just minor follow up at the polyclinic.
Correct me if I'm wrong, these rural clinics and the polyclinics, they're supposed to reduce the clutter in Kingston.
They're reducing the clutter in Kingston.
That's that's the point.
That's the point.
Does it happen?
Yes.
So
does it
them
happen?
to Kingston doesn't make
But
sense.
remember, it depends on what the condition
The tendency is for
That's-
people
just-
to go straight to the casualty in Kingston because it's a large catchment area. You know, the large catchment area.
Yes.
This is something that bothered because it coming over the radio can give the wrong impression from that one experience. Caller, I want you to, if you're living in the Buckingham area, take a stroll down to the polyclinic. And rather than phone in, slip in there with a smile and chat and find out what the information might be.
Okay, so it's 9:30. Let's take a quick break, and we're gonna come right back right here on Activated Mornings and wrap things up.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Did you know? Have you used them? Vertis, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available any place. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. By Vertis, Medushi, and Lilies. Made by St. Vincent Containers.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Is everyone's business, yeah. Love it, embrace it.
It's a long pass from Javin Sutherland up to Alex Stewart. Alex Stewart over to Onyx Anderson. Anderson Jones pass the defender. He shoots, he scores. Goal, 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 goal. It's the 2023 Nations League qualifiers for both men and women. Back-to-back football for the rest of the year. September, October, November, and December. Football has got you covered. Vinci Heat takes on Belize, Bermuda, and French Guiana in home and away games. And there's more. Lady Heat takes on Bermuda, Dominican Republic, and Barbados. It's the Nations League qualifiers. Follow our social media pages for more information at SVG Football Federation and Instagram at SVGFF_football. It's Football Mania. Stay tuned for more information.
WEFM 99.9.
Problems. And the mission is to resolve as many of these problems as possible. What quite an interesting morning talking about two major issues at the Milton Kittu Memorial Hospital. You want to read that comment there?
Oh,
Not
so-
that one.
Okay. Yes, male host, not Mr. Thompson.
You could have skipped over that part.
No, it's funny. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Lily polyclinics are
Polyclinics,
supposed to ease the traffic if patients to the major hospitals, but not of major injuries,
Mhm.
just minor. You don't want 25 persons traveling to Kingston for cuts, burns, headaches, and such, but they wouldn't be able to ease the traffic of major injuries or issues.
Because like accident and emergency,
Mhm.
they'll have to deal with that. Yeah.
That was exactly my point.
I still want to suggest that to that caller, take a stroll down to the polyclinic and have a chat with the manager. And I think you'll get some resolution and find, since you like going to the poly, you want to go to the, that you'll be able to go there for certain issues that you may not imagine. And as a point, there are lots of good services being offered there. Tap into it,
Yeah. As I said, it should be marketed. We should know because a handful of us in the room know what days.
No, but we have social media at our disposal. I mean, to be
Somebody
fair,
still has to do work.
be fair, I probably don't check their social media accounts, the Ministry of Health social media accounts, as much as before. But that's what I said. The marketing needs to be a bit more in your face, in terms of maybe just an ad stating what the services are, right?
Radio.
Some sort of ad somewhere.
They use social media if it's one thing. The Ministry of Health, SVGA Health, they have a lot of information on their social
maybe
media
a
page.
sponsored ad, so it's directly in my face or something, but and it doesn't even have to be for a prolonged period of time. But just to have that information out there, so that persons know. Because as I said, if it wasn't for that particular Sunday morning, I would not have been aware of these different or the range of services at the polyclinics.
All right, we have another call coming in.
Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Sorry to call back, but I just want to get this straight or just correct.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they have good service. Don't you really have good service? They have good doctors, good attendants. To me, than anywhere else. Okay? And I didn't choose because I like to go down there. I choose because of the service. You understand? If I get it straight.
Yeah.
But as I said, you have to take no straight of walk, which is a good advice to sit down and talk to whoever in charge.
Yeah.
When you have a policy, even though you go down there and that is their policy, you can't change it. You have to respect it and follow the rules. You understand?
I want you to double check on the policy you heard over the phone.
Or was it based on that particular condition that she had at the time? I think that's what it is.
Possibly, but we understand. I hope you didn't
No, I'm
feel...
just telling you. What I want to say.
Yeah.
We know quick come off quick, but we may say that is what we have and that's what taking place, which is, and I doubt that could be where to be happy. But sometimes we need to hear those who are participating in the service.
Yes, I understand.
Right?
Yeah.
And accept it and say, okay, I'm going to find out for myself and to see what and what. Because there are a lot of crying and there are a lot of issues. But we, the patient, as everyone to call us, is hardly heard. It's like twisting us around and say things. So when we are the one who are experiencing the situation, it's just to correct, not to condemn.
Yes.
Have a great day.
All right, yes, well, thank you.
But I'm going to check this out, I'm going to find out and be able to come back and talk a little about it, because I think it's important for people to hear that what the true facts are and so forth. But we've heard that patient's views and her experience, and we have to accept that that's what she experienced.
All right, so 9:39, it's time to wrap up on this morning's program. Let me see. Want to say thank you to all those who have joined the live and those who have called and made their contribution via WhatsApp messages as well. So final comments on this one. I'll go around. Let's start with you, Roleza, this time.
All right, just general healthcare. I suppose, they say your health is your wealth. From my vantage point, I can't necessarily speak a lot about the healthcare system in Vinci, because as I said, I haven't had reasons to use it myself. I do know that sometimes the nurses get a lot of public lashing from certain persons. But even within my own experience with the situation with my niece, I can't say that has been my experience. So I can't join the bandwagon based on what other persons have said, just what had happened with my niece. But I mean, part of it has to do with our own personal responsibility. I probably am guilty of this. Like, I only go to a doctor when I feel like I'm dying, or I looked up something on Google and it says that it could lead to cancer, and then I go, just to find out that it's something very trivial. But
Many of us.
yeah, and that's why probably don't go to Google as your medical source.
WebMD.
But but that's it. That's the other thing, is that sometimes in some instances we wait until things become they take too long, or they progress too much to then go to seek medical assistance. Our healthcare, I don't want to say it's free, because we really should be paying our bills, but we do have easy access to healthcare here in Vinci. So it's just for us to play our part to make the role or the lives of doctors, nurses, the hospital on a whole, the healthcare system on a whole, a little bit better. Right? So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Doc?
Health care, we judge today healthcare based on what we see on coming out of the United States, out of Canada, UK, what's being on television. If people are watching television anymore, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some great advances in healthcare, and we want it too. I can reflect on what healthcare used to be like a long time ago, what people told us about. Especially, as you said, it is critical. A lot of people are suffering, not just because of what they did early in life, but the cost of healthcare can be excessive. You do have to cater for those people who really are indigent, who don't have any money at all, and you don't want to encourage people who could pay something. That means there's like a two-tier system, and you don't really want that. You want to bring it close here. But I am really happy seeing these polyclinics. I think they've done well, and the services there, the acute care hospital that's going to be coming, modern medical. I think that I'm looking forward, as I get a little older, that the healthcare is going to be able to save my life, if necessary.
All right, caller, we see your call, but unfortunately we're wrapping up today. So tune in tomorrow. Maybe we can discuss this further. My opinion on this is same as everyone else. Be nice to your parents, because you never know. I mean, be nice to your children, because you never know. You never know what might happen.
So this sounds like me and my neighbor's children, right? All right.
But healthcare is always evolving, and I think in a lot of these arguments, we tend to forget that we're in a third world country, and we're comparing the healthcare of those with a much bigger population that have easier access to newer technologies, etc., etc. That being said, I still also believe that a lot of these services being offered should be in your face. It should be marketed, it should be advertised, and customer service goes a long way. If you're able to update patients or update Vincentians in general about what is happening, then with the knowledge, it reduces the stigma. It should reduce the stigma. It really is unfortunate to see videos going around showing what happened in Milton Cato, us knowing that there's clutter, us the caller calling in with her personal issue. And I think that we should all be at the stage where we're trying to improve things.
All right. So many things there. Now, we do not have a perfect system. There are quite a number of things that need to be addressed and fixed concerning the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. I always believe that we should and could work on some of these things and not wait until we have the acute referral hospital in Arnoldsville, because we have seen that every project, let me not say every project, with projects, the possibility of there being a delay is pretty high, because even with the acute referral hospital, we had the issue where the cost of material went up so much that we had to go looking for more money. All right. we all have a responsibility to take care of ourselves and not wait until it becomes so major an issue that we have to depend on the system. The system is there. They're obligated to take care of, well, when I say they, the government, take care of the needs of all Vincentians, physically, socially, economically. But that doesn't mean that we should just throw our hands in the air and say, hey, government will do this, government will do that. We all have a responsibility. And I always believe that the government should be there. Well, some of the social services should be there for those who really need it, who cannot do better, not those who are strong and who have the power to do something to prevent. I think as a society, we need to go back towards being more preventative and not reactive to a lot of things. So hopefully we'll continue to fix the issues that we have within our healthcare system. With time, we'll talk about some more things. And as it concerns marketing, people know where to go, when they want certain things. They know which page to go on Facebook to find Maxi Priest's video of him gallivanting behind bars. I remember last week I said it's not going to take very long for us to see a video. So said, so done. All right. They know where to go to get certain things. And they can go to SVG Health to get information as well. A lot of information is there. They're accessible. Tomorrow for that. All right. I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. My name is Christal. We've had Ari. We have Dr. Thompson. Doc, you good?
Yes.
I don't know. You look like you're such in such awe looking on.
Yeah, no, I love these discussions and listening. You know, you've been in so many of them, right? On healthcare. It's good to hear the alternative views, and so much reinforced.
Yeah, and thanks to Roleza for joining us as well. See you again tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Coming up next is Community Dateline. That's brought to you, compliments, Wefm. All right, so let's get